Hello, BookTube. Here's the third box. It's quite full, so it's going to, I'm sure, take 3 videos. Um, Here is Fritz Lang's Woman in the Moon, which is a science fiction, and it's exactly that a woman going to the moon. Written, I think, screenplay by Thea von Harbo, his wife. This is 1929. Let's see here. There are no, it says, well, includes gallery of rare production photographs. Again, this is Kino, so there's no extras really at all other than those photos, and no booklet whatsoever. So, again, a bit of a letdown. I'm hoping that somebody will do a nice. Actually, I think maybe Masters of Cinema have done one now. So they, if it's not on Blu-ray, at least they'll have a booklet and good chance a commentary. So that will get replaced eventually. Victor Seastrom's The Outlaw and His Wife. And again, this is one I really enjoyed. I like Victor Seastrom. Many will know him from, I think, Wild Strawberries. Can't think of the name of the director, but later in sound. But he gave homage to his Victor Seastrom's silent films, and this is a masterpiece of Swedish silent cinema. Law and His Wife is a film of remarkable psychological complexity, which bore a profound influence on Ingmar Bergman. That's it. Yeah, I think the Wild Strawberries, Ingmar Bergman. Thank you. They finally actually helped me in the back. So yeah, and it's when a mysterious stranger played by Seastrom is hired on a farm by its widowed owner Edith Erstaff, who would later become Seastrom's wife. A romantic bond quickly forms, but the man's troubled past fails uh, fails their chances of happiness. Foils there. Sorry, it's very difficult to read, and forces them to seek refuge in a nearby mountain. And it's got landscape and just the whole story, which is fantastic. It is. Let's try to see. No, it's not. It's not a Selma Lagerlöf story but he did quite a few of them. And year again, trying to find. Of course, they don't say 1918 Swedish, so that is very good. And there's no extras on it either. Again, oh no, that's not it. Well, let's do this. This is, I think, another part of that trilogy that I mentioned. Deshemko's Arsenal represents the avant-garde masterpiece of the renowned Ukrainian film director. Oh, I can't remember now because there's that trilogy, and it doesn't say anything. It's just that this is quite good though. It's again montage, Soviet montage, which is quite fantastic. This is 19. Oh, I wish they wouldn't do this. It makes it so difficult. It's late 20s. I'm quite sure of that. And of course, they just do not put the original date. Oh, there it is. Finally, I see 1928. Yeah. So I'm not sure if this is. Um, no, it doesn't say, but there's an audio commentary on it. I can't remember now because I do have the trilogy. Um, but I just don't know where it is at the moment, or if I still have it. I used to have it. It would help if that was right way up. This is another um, Soviet film. Let's see here. Well, it's Miss Mend. It's a Flicker Alley production, which is Region One as well, but they're much better. They do have booklets in them, and it's a Soviet Americanism. Miss Mend is Soviet Americanism. It says, yeah, when talking about the Soviet cinema in the 1920s, it is the great avant-garde masters like Zizigo, Vertov, and Sergei Eisenstein that most often come to mind, yet their experimental works, now celebrated as classics of the silent era, did not attract contemporary viewers as much as some other now forgotten films. A case in point is the Miss Mend trilogy, released in 1926 by semi-private commercial film studio Mesophone Rus. Miss Mend had 1.7 million spectators in its first 6 months, settling the box office records. Um, though well executed, Miss Men is, at its core, empty. Eisenstein's battleship Potemkin, Podolkin's mother, Vertov's sixth part of the world. These are our triumphs. They forge a path for the future of Soviet cinema. We will go stronger only by breaking free from Western models. That was a critic of the time. Um, let's see, is there anything extra? I think there should be some extras on here. Yeah, as I say, they don't make it easy. They don't make it easy. Uh, yeah, it was based on 1923 pulp novel. So, well, it's late 20s, but I don't see anything stating uh, commentary. I don't remember any commentary. Yeah, it's a booklet. It's Mastered in High Definition, I recorded orchestra by Robert Israel. Soviet culture specializes specialist Anna Burton wrote the new English titles as well as included a booklet. Uh, it's a bonus 22-minute documentary. Uh, yeah, it doesn't say anything about commentary, so I don't quite remember what it's about, to be honest. Yeah, it's one of the ones that sort of don't stick in my mind for some reason. Here's Douglas Fairbanks, uh, The Iron Mask. So Alexander Dumas. Uh, this is it's directed by Alan Dwan. Let's see here. It's in 1929. Again, I don't think there's no special features really on it much at all. But yeah, it's the usual for Douglas Fairbanks. Yeah, this is just a Eureka sort of general one. A Lost World by Arthur Conan Doyle um, film, and this is 1925, and it's quite interesting for stop motion photography and miniatures of the dinosaurs and so forth. And it was a huge film at the time. Audio commentary by Roy Pilot, author of the annotated Lost World. Oh, I remember seeing that part. restored and remastered, 12 minutes of animation outtakes. So it's quite fantastic. If you haven't seen it and you're interested in early animation and film, then that's definitely worth your while, and even just as a fun story. Here we get to sort of the great William S. Hart, the first great Western star in one of his most exciting films, The Tollgate. And it also includes a Mack Sennett Western. So he was, yeah, Hart was a huge Western star at the time. This is 1920, directed by Lambert Hillier. Produced by William S. Hart himself. And yeah, it's just here what it says: Hart plays Deke Daring, an outlaw who is on his own words ain't never been any good. He and his gang are ambushed during a train robbery, and later he learns his betrayer is one of his own men, Jordan, who used his blood money to buy frontier parlor of gambling and prostitution. So he escapes from the law and goes to seek retribution on him for squealing. 93 minutes. No other no other commentary or anything with that. Here we go. John Barrymore again in The Tempest. No other features. This is an image. And again, it's going to be 1927. They actually have put the date on this one. It's basically it's considered highly, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, I just don't think too highly of him too much. But it's a silent film, and there's of interest in it, especially the cinematography is always of interest to me. Oh, oh, here is the Griffith. Oh, actually, this might be the first box set of D.W. Griffith Masterworks. The other one was second. Yeah, that sort of makes better sense. This has Broken Blossoms, biograph shorts, Orphans of the Storm, Broken Blossoms and Orphans of the Storm, Intolerance and Birth of a Nation. Yeah, this is the first one. Lillian Gish I think it was this one. What year is this? Yeah, 1919. She was getting ready to film this, and she caught the Spanish flu. I was reading this in the 1918 pandemic, and she survived, obviously. But she was so like she lost a lot of weight. She actually then fit the supposed to be 16 or something like that, or 17, as the character, even though she was in her late 20s, I think, at the time. So this is 1919. It's from a story by Thomas Burke. G.W. Bitzer, his usual cameraman, was on the job there, and this is Birth of a Nation, which is controversial for many reasons. It's based on The Klansman by Thomas Dixon, again photographed by G.W. Bitzer, and as I say, it's been credited as sort of starting the Ku Klux Klan again in the 20s. I was trying to think here where it's like 1916 or 17. 1915 actually. It's a must sort of for cinema history, but yeah, there's a lot of problems with it. But you have to go in knowing that and understand what's happening there before you sort of uh, jump to conclusions, I suppose. Intolerance is quite fantastic. It's a huge epic, massive epic with huge sets. It's modern day and flipping back to Babylon. This is again, it's like 1917, 18. It must be 1916. Orphans of the Storm, another one with Lillian Gish and Dorothy Gish. An epic drama of the French Revolution. This is 1921, and it's very opulent as well. And this is a bunch of his shorts that he did for Biograph. These were just like 10, 12-minute shorts. And Lillian Gish was in a lot of them. And they're just, there's comedy, there's westerns, there's drama, all sorts of things. But he learned his craft more or less doing that, and the way of directing and zooming in on faces and stuff like that. He would zoom in. Nothing that was sort of already being done by European cinemas, but American cinema goers had never seen it before, so it was something brand new to them. We do it for time. We're 16 minutes. Okay. Here's another little box set. Oh, yes, this is the Fairbanks 1916 to 1921 Flicker Alley set. It does have a booklet with it. Modern Musketeer, Jeffrey Vance, and Tony Mayetta. And let's go through the films. They're in slim cases here. Douglas Fairbanks, The Nut. There's Mark of Zorro on here as well. There is the picture in the papers. Mystery of the Leaping Fish is a hoot. It's basically his name is Coke Any Day, Detective Coke Any Day. So he's sniffing coke all the way through the film. it's hilarious. It's like 1912, 13, 14 or something like that. It's quite funny. Flirting with Fate. A Modern Musketeer, and Reaching for the Moon. The Matriomaniac, Wild and Woolly, When the Clouds Roll By, and the Mollycoddle. And they're just like, he was a bit of a hack in many ways. He was married to I can't think of her name? Mary Pickford. And Mary Pickford, and D.W. Griffith started Universal Pictures so they could distribute their own films. Let's see here. It's got the date. Mystery of Leaping Fish, 1916. It's a bizarre film, it says. A burlesque on Sherlock Holmes. Subsequent generations elevate it to cult status for its comic treatment of drug abuse. It's a hoot, and he has his place obviously in cinema history. Does Fairbanks for the swashbuckling and so forth. Let's grab another box set here. It's like Christmas. I'm never sure. Oh, yes. Rough box. The box is rough. But this is the Buster Keaton, a mother of all box sets. I'm sure it's being transposed now by Blu-rays and better restorations. But here's the general. There's not a whole lot of, if any, any any extras on it. Steamboat Bill Jr., College, The Navigator, Go West, Three Ages, Sherlock Jr., Seven Chances, Battling Butler, The Haunted House, and Frozen North. There's several on a few of these. The Saphead, The High Seven in 1 week. And this is just a 3.5 hours of rare shorts, TV appearances, commercials, home movies, and photos from the Keaton archives. And it's just a fantastic set. Was put out in the mid-90s. It was expensive at the time, yeah. Well, it came that way because it was shipped from the U.S. and it got damaged during the shipping and subsequent movings and packing, and it just doesn't fit the DVDs all that well. So it hasn't lasted. Same as this one. None of them do. They just don't fit the. The space. They don't fit and they're just to cardboard, so they get messed up. Here's a 5-volume Kino where the movies began. 133 complete motion pictures. It's just all sorts of early film. Comedy, spectacle, New Horizons, The Magic of Méliès, experimental discovery, The Great Train Robbery, and other primary works, and European pioneers. So it's just I don't need to go through it. It's from 1894 to 1913. It's just a hodgepodge of well, as it says, 133 films. Yeah, this Keaton box set was $200 when it came out. $200 US. So there you go. Here's a good one. Saved by the Flames, 54 rare and restored films from 1896 to 1944. This was a good series that Flicker Alley did, and I think they did another one or two, possibly by now. I've lost track. Yeah, it's just some great stuff. Again, some comedies, avant-garde material. And there's a booklet and lots of reference information. Going back to Ernst Lubitsch and Berlin, and this is Polo Negri and the Wildcat, and it's a comedy and farce, basically, over the top. It's set. Where's it set again? Set in a fort. There's bandits. It's so showing outrageous. Looks like it's like in the Cossacks or something like that. Cossack Mountains or Russian. This is quite of an interesting film. It's Winstanley. This is done by Kevin Braunlau. And this is a bit of a rare DVD now because he sent the original film to I forget to do there was one place they wanted the original film, the negatives to do something with, and they got thrown in the trash and destroyed, completely gone. So now all they have is secondary material, but this was done directly from the negative or the original film. So that is something I'll always keep. It's Kevin Braunlau and Andrew Malloy. It was produced by the British Film Institute. And it's not silent, really. It's just here because of Kevin Braunlau. And it's basically in mid 1600s, George's Hill, Surrey, England, a Reformation era religious sect called the Diggers set out to form a commune, and it's about Winstanley doing that. Here's I think I showed volume 1 of this, landmarks of early film. This is volume 2, Magic of Millais. Very similar to the other one. Don't need to dwell on that. I might be able to get this box done actually then. Maybe not. History of World War One. America goes over. Epic World War One battles. Various ones. It's not a very good DVD or restoration. It's done by as CDS Incorporated in Orlando, Florida. This is not a great DVD place. Very poor. They take their material from basically 16 millimeter or maybe even 9 millimeter films. But this is with Bela, so I had to get this, Daughter of the Night. It's a 1920 film. So anything like that, so I had to get that, but it's not a very good restoration. Oh, here we go, Earth. There's another copy of it. Yeah, I had the trilogy in this. I don't know if I still do. In this version, this is Bongo, I think. Yeah, Mr. Bongo. Yeah, this is Earth. I don't know where I've got this, but this is well, we'll come back to that maybe. Hopefully, I'll find the rest of it. This is King Vidor's production of. It's 2 lost films of John Gilbert. He was renowned for his with Greta Garbo, and he was sort of drummed out of films because his voice didn't work. He did have a funny little voice, at least the way they showed it, but they just for some reason didn't like it. So here's 2 lost films, plus Monte Cristo, lost films of John Gilbert, Bardley's The Magnificent. And here's a Battleship Potemkin by Eisenstein. That really doesn't need much of an introduction. Everybody knows that, or should know if you're interested in film history. There's the famous scene of the baby carriage going down the steps while shots are going off. And this was 1925. October 1917, another Sergei Eisenstein, 10 Days That Shook the World, dedicated to Petrograd proletariat heroes of the October Revolution. No, and none of these have any commentaries or any extras on it, except the Bardley's one will have a booklet because that's Flickr Alley. Another Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. I think we've already seen one. Definitely getting this in Blu-ray. It's Robert Wien's 1919. Carl Mayer was written by Conrad Veidt. And I don't know, there's 2 musical scores on this. Behind the scene footage. I don't think there's I don't think there's a commentary on it, which is too bad. Old Wives for New, Cecil B. DeMille's in the Whispering Chorus. Just typical run-of-the-mill D.W. Griffith films. But with charm. 1918, both from 1918. This is Image again, with no extras as far as I can remember. So I'm going to continue with this and go over probably a bit. Oh, here we go. there's the Steelbook of Fritz Lang's Testament of Dr. Mabuse. It's limited edition Steelbook. It's got Blu-ray on it, as well as the other one, Blu-ray and DVD. And I just put it in a plastic bag to keep it from being scratched up. And that's by Masters of Cinema. I'm sure it is, isn't it? It must be. It doesn't use it. Yeah, it's a Masters of Cinema. And here's experimental German or experimental film 1928 to 1954 again. Some interesting things on this. Volume 2, I'm not sure if I still have Volume 1. It's got... Does this have... it's a variety, it's a mishmash of stuff. Oh, it does have The Fall of the House of Usher. Very strange 1928 Fall of the House of Usher on here, but that's worth keeping, definitely, and it's on disc 2. Oh, I think this is last one. Oh, and another Buster Keaton. This is Eureka. The box is getting dinged up as well. I haven't kept these in very good shape. The DVDs are fine. It's the cases that are rough. This is the complete short films, 1917 to 1923. They're not fully restored. I believe they have come out or coming out as restored versions. And this has Roscoe Arbuckle, who took him in, and there's a big booklet here too. It's Masters of Cinema. So this and the other big box set are just fabulous for Buster Keaton. So that's it. That's box 3. I think there's just one more box. But that I'm not sure if it's all DVDs or DVDs and CDs. Or I'm thinking of that there's a third box, and then there's a fourth box, or no, a fifth box, fourth box, and then a fifth box with DVDs and CDs. But we'll see. Anyway, take care, BuckTube. Bye.